Welcome everybody to the Synapse Philosophy Group. We are in multiple languages now, and we have our third episode that we've done with Portuguese subtitles. I'm trying to find somebody to do it in Spanish so we can get subtitles in Spanish. So if you know anybody, help me out. That embeds them into the video. And Didi Palmer is important. So I just sent that out to all my Brazilian friends and some Brazilians, and where they're not getting much philosophy there. So we are starting. We're on page 96, halfway down. And Didi Palmer is rebutting again what he's talking about. We're in the chiropractor's adjuster. So what he's doing is bringing chiropractors back to true north, where they've gone one way or the other. And he's saying, this is chiropractic, not that. Okay. Now, right in the middle, Dr. Parkin says the blood is the actual healing agent of the body. And Didi says this: all reparative processes are the work of innate, whose impulses are directed through the nervous system, not the vascular. This bloody delusion, which I love, this bloody delusion has held the world in ignorance long enough. All actions, functions are the result of impulsive commands sent out by and through the nervous system, such as life, the circulation of the blood, the transduction of the chyle, the lymph, and the serum is controlled by nerve impulses sent out by innate. Oh, excuse me, Dave needs to come back in. There we go. Sent out by innate. What has formation of character, habits, breathing, or business tactics do not to do with the setting of fractured bones or displaced joints. I'm not running a kindergarten school. My time is employed in discovering what portion of the osseous framework impinges upon the carriers of impulses that create disturbance of function named disease. Whoa. Didi's laying it out, because even now people think that sickness, that healing function is carried by the blood, and we know it's not true. It's the central nerve system. Anybody have any input, want to talk about that, or clarity? What do you think? And Mario, if you speak English, that's okay. If you type it, you can ask questions. And we have Bob Crystal here, Carol Crystal's husband, who speaks Spanish. He might help us translate a little bit if you'd like.
That's right. Hi, I have no problems with that, actually.
No, it's good. That's good. Awesome. So you have any thoughts on that? Any insights? Well, Didi, go ahead.
No, I'm just checking right now, again.
Well, what for centuries, this is what he's saying. Since human existence, we're 96. The last two paragraphs.
Thank you.
We've looked to the blood, right? Still the same thing. Now, Speransky, has everybody heard of Speransky's book, The Science and Logic of Chiropractic? No, excuse me, not Science and Logic. The Basis and Theory of Medicine. Has anybody ever heard of that book?
Yes.
I ordered 1,000 of them, not 1,000, 100 of them, and I sold them because it's so important. And what he did was experiments with dogs, and he introduced a virus into the nerve system. He used the ear because it's not very vascular. And he was a Russian. This is during the Cold War. He wasn't sponsored by any pharmaceutical company. He was out to help make healthier Russians. And he introduced the virus, because it's not vascular, right to the nerve. And that's what actually transmitted the virus, not the blood, which is truly amazing. Okay. One of the most important books that proves chiropractic over and over and over again. It's an amazing book. I'll help you get one if you want. I might order another 100 and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to move forward, everybody. What do you think?
Okay.
Dr. Parkin also said, would it not seem ridiculous if we found it necessary to instruct our horses or dogs how to breathe as nature intended they should? It seems equally as this is end quote. So this is Dee Dee now. It seems equally as ridiculous for educated to tell Innate how to breathe in horses, dogs, or human beings. In all parts concerned are in their normal position, performing their normal functions. There is no need of educated suggestion to Innate how to breathe or perform any function. So what he's talking about is suggestive therapy and other therapies added into chiropractic, and he's saying no way, chiropractic doesn't need it. Okay.
Right.
The economic functions are performed by Innate as well or better in the infant or in the lower. Now this is important, and I want to discuss it too. Or in the lower orders of vertebrates than in the adult who is educated in the mazy labyrinth of suggestive therapeutics. Educated bothers and worries Innate when trying to direct that of which Innate knows far more than educated will ever know. This is the part of chiropractic school that I think is left out and we should spend more time on, because most of chiropractic school, if you ask me, is doctoring in physical nature, right? Instead of allowing innate intelligence to do his job. What do you guys think?
True.
True. You know, if we got back to, which we are, and we're doing this, and I teach in Mexico when I go, and Brazil, about this innate intelligence. And it's the basis of chiropractic philosophy. It's truly amazing. So if we don't study innate and understand spirit, we're losing out in chiropractic. And the more we get in it to Dee Dee Palmer and get that to the students around the world, I truly feel that is the saving grace of chiropractic, the father of chiropractic. How do you guys feel today? Anything in that? You got any insights? Go ahead, Dave.
I mean, look, we knew that was the deal. When I went to Arno's camp as a layperson, Arno's like, look, you're gonna go to chiropractic school and you're not going to learn anything that you learned at this camp. So, you know, I was fortunate enough, I knew that going in.
Not all of us had that. I mean, you were in a very special place. I was there. You know, I wasn't at your camp, but I've been to those camps, and it's truly amazing. It's life-changing. And, you know, and I had Pasquale, we had Sigafus, and I always say Pasquale saved my chiropractic life because I was lost second, third quarter. Like, what in the world is this? This seems strange. And giving us these insights of our own spirit. What is innate intelligence? We have worked going through Stevenson's, BJ's, Dee Dee's books. What is innate intelligence? What do you guys think it is? What's the answer to that? God within us. That's spirit. That's our spiritual intelligence that runs the show, right?
How do you explain that? What is innate intelligence to an atheist person?
It's your life force that runs your show. You can't think about digesting I get asked that question all the time in my talks in the office. And I said, if you had to think about the processes of digesting your food with your educated brain, how long would it take you to get that done? Right? You'd still be working what you got from your mama when you were born. But Innate is doing that right now without thought, running the show and creating living tissue. I call it God. You call it what you want to. That's not what's important to me. Does that answer the question?
100%.
So, and you know what? Bruce Lipton was an atheist until he read D.D. Palmer's book. And he taught in all the medical schools. He's a cellular biologist. He reads D.D. Palmer's book. And he said, I was an atheist until I read D.D. Palmer's book. I understood chiropractic and I began to believe in God. I mean, that's powerful stuff. And now Bruce Lipton's one of the most popular metaphysical writers in the world. And he left chiropractic because he wanted to be a gung-ho fight for chiropractic, but chiropractic was so messed up. And he said, you guys just fight among yourselves. You got a good principle there, but it all is based on this, is that the spirit within, because not one cell will live without innate intelligence, which is spirit within. The cells, your cells begin to change. Universal forces take over and you're transformed in the grass that's growing in your backyard or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Good question, Dave. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Now, I put in here, I in a post today, this is what I put. Chiropractors, I didn't say that, that was a different sentence. Chiropractors have no more need for suggestion when replacing a luxated bone than a lady has when adjusting her hat or collar.
That's good.
I think that's pretty funny, right? So the mind has an influence over the body, and so have remedies, but I have no use for either when adjusting vertebra or other joints. And I think that's also important because he's not talking about vertebra only. He said other joints. Now, he has said 90 plus, subluxations. 90% of the subluxations are in the vertebra. There are subluxations in other joints, and adjusting extremities and adjusting other areas of the system. And that's an important thing that people overlook a little bit with DD. Okay. Any salesman can sell goods to those who want them, but it takes a policy. So what he's talking about is selling things and convincing people. We don't need to convince people about chiropractic. The mind
I think that we should, Carol, put your phone on mute because you're getting a lot of back.
Got it. Okay. We'll just mute out in between. Is that cool? Okay, I'm going to go down to the last paragraph on page 97. And if you want to say something, just unmute. Okay, is that cool? I didn't mean to mute you out or anything, but there was just some background noise. I think that there is some good in all methods, but when the chiropractor adjusts the bony framework to its normal position, all pliable tissue will respond and resume their proper position and consequently their usual functions. Health being the result. What more needs to be done? I mean, that sums it up. That's what I put in a post today for people. What more needs to be done for that body to function at its best? I think that's truly, he just sums it all up in a paragraph right there. All right. Now, I outlined this in the past, and I marked something here and I thought was pretty funny because he's talking about the smoking of cigarettes poisons the nerve system. This is 1910, you realize, and he already knew cigarettes were poisonous, but up until I think it was about the, through World War II, the 40s and the 50s, doctors were prescribing smoking cigarettes even to pregnant women as a health benefit. And Didi's saying, it poisons the nerve system. This is 1910. I think that's awesome on page 98. All right, I'm going to start at the top. E.E. Carley failed to get the chiropractic idea in my answers to Willard Carver. Perhaps I was not explicit. For this reason, I will answer his letter, which reads as follows. All right. Dear Doctor, I have yours of the 14th enclosing copy of an article by yourself in which you argue that smoking cigarettes will in time produce a displaced vertebra, and that by adjusting the displacement, the habit will be abandoned. The article also teaches by interference that an undesirable habit will produce displacement in some portion of the body. Now he's talking about chemical stress. And we've determined now at least 80% of subluxations come from us, from within. That's a research study. And the rest come from outside forces, tripping over the curb, getting hit by a bus. Now here's Dee Dee's reply. The smoking of cigarettes poisons the nerve system. This poison affects sensory nerves, which in turn contract motor nerves, drawing bones to which they are attached out of alignment. He's explaining how a chemical stress causes a subluxation. This is where people have a lot of trouble explaining chemical stress. Displaced bones, more especially vertebra, press against and impinge upon nerve fibers, deranging their actions. Continued displacement perpetuates pain, misery, paralysis, abnormal physical desires, and mental aberrations. Just as surely as bones can be drawn out of their normal position, just as surely as they can be corrected by the hand, the act of smoking does not fasten or form the habit. The poison which is imposed upon the nerve system creates these special changes for its accommodation. And I think I like that whole explanation. On this question of adaptation, immunity to disease, that condition of the body which enables it to resist morbific influences, I guess that means like morbid influences, to adapt itself to condition imposes upon it, cannot be better said than that given on page 7 of Dallafield's and Pruden's textbook on pathology. The human body, like other living organisms, has acquired its present form and its varied functions through gradual adaptation to its environment. Okay. All right. Any input from anyone here? Because I'm going to skip a couple of paragraphs here. All right, we're moving through it. We're now at page 99. We're almost reached 100 out of 1,000 pages. Okay. Drugs affect nerves. For that purpose, they are given astringents. They are given astringents. Excuse me. Drug affects nerves. For that purpose, they are given. Astringents cause contraction of tissue. Tonics and stimulants excite action. Sedatives and narcotics lower functional activity by producing stupor. Diuretics and expectorants stimulate certain nerves to overaction. A continued use of these cause conditions, which we name habits, to become fixed. It was the first determination, though I was the first to determine that where and how the medications poison. Chiropractors are able, or at least should be able to locate the vertebra displaced, the nerves impinged upon, to be replaced, the vertebra, and release the impingement. Now, you guys, I mean, have you seen people? I'll just give you an example. We had a newborn baby come in, and I'd adjusted the child about 5 or 6 times. And he was a toddler, not quite newborn still, but a small toddler. Received a vaccine. The baby was boiling hot. It was actually 2 legs. They got 4 shots in the legs, probably 5 vaccines in each, and they made him drink one. That boy was so hot, his atlas felt like it was trying to escape from his body, okay? I can almost hold it. the vertebra around his pancreas, around it, it was about T5, it was so inflamed around that vertebra. As I touched it, he screamed, but I knew I had to adjust that. I adjust that vertebra. Ah! The baby relaxed. The fever was still high. I adjusted his atlas. All that tension still dropped more, but the fever was still up there. I wasn't fighting the fever. I'm not fighting anything. I'm helping the body function at its best. Hopefully, Innate now has the ability to fight the poisons that were put into that child, because it wasn't subluxated like that the day before. And I saw him the same day. It was I saw him on I'm going to say a Tuesday. He came in on a Wednesday again because it was the baby was so subluxated. The mommy was worried. It was a direct action of an irritant, Pasquale would say, into the system, and the body reacted out, and you can see it in the vertebra. Truly amazing. Anybody have any input or questions or clarity? All right. This is where I have really for us today. I can keep going a little bit. You guys want me to keep going? Chiropractors are able, or at least should be, to locate the vertebra displaced, the nerves impinged upon, or to be replaced the vertebra and release the impingement. One of the duties of a physician is to observe the effect his prescription has upon the nerves of this patient. Now, that doctor should have seen that immediately, because the mother said it happened like that, right? Think about all of us. Too much sugar is a chemical stress. His remedies may be introduced by the mouth, the rectum, the hypodermic syringe, or the arm vaccination. The kind of poison and place of entrance is to be considered by the adjuster when adjusting. That's pretty interesting. How would we change our actions if we knew that how that was, it was given through the rectum or through a shot? I don't know if it would necessarily change my adjustment, but it would give me different insights maybe, right? What do you guys think? A medicine is said to be physiological when it acts on a counter poison. On account of individual peculiarities called idiosyncrasies, a drug may be physiologic to one person and pathologic to the other. I mean, Dee Dee's laying it out here. How big was pharmakia back in those days? Not very big, right? But now, oh, we've killed 100,000 people. The bean counters said it's, better to take off, we'll take it off the shelves, and we won't sell that drug anymore. We'll change the name of it. And because it kills X number of people, but it helps, this number of people. This bizarro world, and it's not new. It's been going on a long time. If anybody wants to say something, let me know, okay? A physiological antidote is one which, when administered to a healthy person, produces effects opposite to those produced by the poison of which it is the antidote. An antidote is one that neutralizes the system, neutralizes not by its chemical effect on the poison, but through its effects on the system it's functioning. The doctrine of physiological pathology and therapeutics was promulgated by F.J. Brosses, a French physician who lived in 1772 to 18, whatever. Let me see, a chemical antidote. Well, okay. So this is where I've skipped a little bit farther in the outline. He's just going through a little bit of that science of that guy. It's not such a big, important thing. Okay, I emphasize firmly, this is page 100, the second paragraph. I emphatically affirm, as I did 13 years ago, that about 95% of diseases are caused by displaced vertebra. The other 5%, including corns and bunions, come from luxated joints other than those of the backbone, of which I said a few minutes ago, right? Now, these are the numbers, 95%. I'm going with Didi. Didi got these messages from his spiritual intuition. Okay. Where joints are not ankylosed, they may be replaced by one move. The tenderness disappears at once. At a vertebra, a subluxated vertebra. Have you all ever adjusted anybody with ankylosing spondylitis or dish? Has anybody? Have you adjusted their vertebra? They move, don't they? As Pasquale would say, you do it gently, right? You're not jumping on their spines to do it, right, Dave? And tremendous results with the slightest bit of motion. Same thing with someone with Harrington rods. Have you adjusted people with Harrington rods? I had a young girl, she was locked from her. I'm going to tell you about this young woman. She had Tourette's, okay, and a little scoliosis. The spine surgeon in this area, I won't even mention his name, said we better put rods in this girl's spine before her scoliosis gets worse. Now, this woman has, think about this. She has Tourette's. She'd say words and all kinds of stuff, but she had this shake where she'd shake her head. And they want to put stainless steel or titanium rods in her spine. She couldn't move anywhere. They put it all the way up to C2. So this girl, she had this tick. She couldn't really move her head. And her migraine, she got migraine so badly because she couldn't move the way her innate was trying to get her to relieve stress. I started adjusting her. Her migraines got better and her tics got worse. But what she actually started to do is have, she wasn't moving, but she would have she was also having seizures, don't get me wrong. She would have nearly what you would call a grand mal seizure. But once all these started getting better, she would have seizures where she didn't have the tic anymore, but she lost all function. She lost bowel function, all sorts of things. These rods were destroying her life, and she was about 21 years old. She eventually, she said, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do next. We kept adjusting her. She had some improvement. But when the medics go in and basically destroy these people's lives because we haven't educated the public well enough, we've got to get out and tell people and say, yes, I can help you. Let's try something easy first. And back in the old days in DE, they used to say, chiropractic first. Listen, if that doesn't work, if we're actually treating symptoms, that's what we're talking about at this point. Medicine second, surgery last. You can tell people that, look, try this. You can always schedule a surgery. The doctor has buckets of drugs they can give you, but let's try something that's a little more sane first. You can always go do those other things. I think about that girl often. I haven't seen her in years. I really wish I would have seen her 2 years before, she came into my office, before she got those. We can't win everything, right? We try. We're only human. We're not perfect, right? It's not magic dust. All right, we have a little more to read and then we're done for the night, everybody, okay? E.E. Carley still says further, we think we should have better success if we did not take radical grounds, for which we certainly must be well aware there are diseases which can, if no possible way, be connected with a physical derangement. My friend Carrie, I do not know of disease conditions which has not its cause in some derangement of the skeletal frame. A subluxation perpetuates disease. I am well aware chiropractic is a new departure, that adjusting cause is a radical change from treating effects. Extremely important. That is making a greater inroad in the old methods methods than any other method, but I care not so long as I know I am right. That is so important. Let's discuss that a second. Did you guys get that? You guys there? Anybody there? Dave left. I think this is important stuff. I'm marking that. It's so important. He said, I am aware that chiropractic is new. It's still new now. This is 1910. People still don't know. It changed from treating effects than caring for the cause. Amazing. Mario, I see you unmuted. You got anything?
I'm not in it.
Do you have any, you want any insights, or you got any questions or anything?
Okay. For me, it's I'm not 100% working. I have problems with clarity right now. Problems to communicate with my patients. That's why I need to more focus on these points of how can I say it, philosophy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So how would you tell someone what a subluxation is?
Actually, the this place of the vertebra. That's it.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
The most important part, though, is it affects the nerve system.
Yeah.
Because you can have a vertebra out of place and not be subluxated, actually. The subluxation has to have the nerve component, which restricts life in the body. Yeah. What part of the world are you? We have a lot of people from all over the world that have been joining in. Where are you?
Actually, I'm from Mexico. I studied college, chiropractic college in Mexico, and I live in Ecuador.
In Ecuador? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
My friend Michael Ray, he said he's opening up a place in Ecuador right now, soon. But which school did you go to? Univet? Unive?
Unive.
Unive, awesome. I was at Unive not long ago. I spoke there a couple of times. And Univet. I love it. I love it. Did you come in? Did I meet you there? I didn't meet you there. No.
No, we didn't.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're joining us today. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So, in that clarity of really telling people the subluxation, you might feel a symptom, right? Your leg might be sciatica, you might have migraines, but it's affecting the central nervous system, how the brain just say talks to the heart, or how it makes a new living body with your stem cells. If the brain can't talk to your cells, those cells are actually beginning to die. When the brain's talking to it, you're actually living more. Let's think about it in that sense. You see the difference in that?
Okay.
If you're only talking about symptoms, you're missing the biggest part, because the symptoms are going to go away with people. They get healthier, they get better. But there's not a reason to quit chiropractic. You should continue to get adjusted, because once the symptoms go away, that's when healing really just begins. And chiropractic is so much more important. It's even more important then, because the body's in defense. When it's in pain, you're adjusting through that defense. Once that defense changes, then healing really, really changes. Everything begins to evolve with that person. You see the difference in that?
Okay, yes.
Any other questions, or how else can we help you? Well, communicate. We do this every Tuesday, okay? Join in. How did you find out about it? One of the posts? Mario?
Actually, one of the posts in Messenger of today's.
Oh, good. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So can you send me, contact me. Can you friend me on Facebook and send me a message so we can communicate? And I'll keep you up to date with this, okay?
Thank you.
I'll send you the link. We have a page for this philosophy group, and I want to make sure you get on the page, and we have all kinds of things on there, okay?
Okay, yes.
Awesome. Well, Mario, invite your friends next time. Let's get Ecuador rocking with chiropractic, okay?
Yes, that's my goal.
I want to see the most successful chiropractor in Central America, and seeing more people and serving lots of people and be successful in changing lives, okay?
Yeah, that's a goal.
And Carol and Bob, I miss you guys. I love you, and I'll see you soon, okay? Awesome.
Have a
Good
good
night,
night.
everybody. I'll see you next week, the same time, okay, Mario?
Yes,
But message me and we'll connect, all right?
yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.